Happy Wednesday and welcome back to another Saxton podcast. Hope everybody has sobered up from the long holiday weekend. How you doing today, Deuce?
Pretty good. Finally ate something that didn't have gravy on it, so, body's getting used to real life again.
I kind of feel like I'm in college again. I have drank every night since last Wednesday. And I looked at the schedule this week. It probably will go till at least Sunday. I'm 10-day bender here.
That's kind of how my life goes this time of year. Thanksgiving till New Year's is kind of an everyday thing for me.
Yeah.
Something really important's got to happen for it not to take place.
Well, something really important's happening this week. Eldrick is back.
He's back.
Your thoughts? Just overall thoughts on Eldrick being back on the course.
Well, hopefully he's back. He's playing the Pro-Am today. By all indications, he's ready to go tomorrow. There was some live tweeting going on earlier from his Pro-Am round, and he looked pretty good from the videos I saw. People are probably going to be surprised at what his swing looks like now. It's dialed back. It's smooth. He's closer to the ball. There's not as much head and body dip. So, I've seen it before. It looks good. It's kind of one of those things where I need to see him put 5 tournaments together before I actually believe. But some of the distances he was hitting it was pretty encouraging. I saw him one tee shot, he hit 364, which I don't care if you're downwind, that's still a big one. So we'll see. It's encouraging though.
Came across some odds that were put out. I want to run them by you, and then get a brief snapshot of the field at the Hero and your pick. This is from Bookmaker. Will Tiger announce retirement before January 1, 2018? Yes, plus 385. No, minus 485.
Yeah, I would lean no right now. If he re-injures himself, depending on what it is, obviously I would change my opinion. If he re-injures his back, where he has to go into the knife, then I would go yes. But right now he looks okay, so we'll see.
Over-under events in 2017, PGA and Euro Tour. Over 6.5, plus 105. Under 6.5, minus 135.
I think I would go over. I think he knows that this might be it, and I think he'll give it a go here.
Will Tiger win an event prior to 2018? Yes, plus 900. No, minus 1900.
There's got to be a little bit of value on that yes number. I know it's not Tiger Woods of 2000, but people forget that he won 5 times in 2013, including the Players and Bridgestone. Tiger Woods has won more recently than Phil Mickelson. Let that sink in for a minute. I know Phil's played well, but still, a win is a win. I would say no. I think, you got to get back into competition, start knocking some top 10s down before you win. Like he would say, it's a process, but the value is obviously on yes.
Did Tiger coin the term process or Sam Hinkie?
Oh, I think Tiger beat Hinkie to it. I think Hinkie probably watched an interview and was like, wow, that's a great idea.
Tiger said it when he was 4.
Right.
Tiger's world golf ranking on January 1, 2018. Over 861, plus 130. Under 861, minus 160.
I don't know what he is now. He's in the high 8. I guess that's the number there. I would
Yes.
think he betters that. I think he makes a few cuts.
I think I read that if he just finishes this weekend, he is better.
Yeah, some of his same tracks that if he stays healthy, even if he's not playing well, I still think he can ham and egg his way to better finishes. Arnie's event, stuff like that.
I agree. When you go back to 2013 and look at the places he won, that's where he always won. He knows those places like the back of his hand, where to hit the ball. Even if he's in the vicinity of where to hit the ball, he's got a chance.
Yeah, to me, he hasn't been a great driver since 2000. It was the 175 and in game that was still the best in the world, and his iron game has dropped off the last 5 years. Obviously it's not just his iron game, it's because he's hurt. But if he can hit his irons well and he putts and chips like he used to, he can still win at the same 7 or 8 places.
His best finish in 2017 playing field has to be at least 100. Over 15.5 minus 145. Under 15.5 plus 115.
I will take a nibble here, and I say he gets somewhere under, Bay Hill or something like that. I'm going to bite here. I know it's early, but I'm going to take a nibble.
I think that's my favorite one so far. I agree with you.
If he just puts together, in the middle of the season, maybe he's not playing well, and he just starts playing tournaments, and like third or fourth in a row, kind of like he did at Wyndham 2 years ago, somewhere like that, I definitely think he's top 15.
Will he withdraw from the Hero? Yes, plus 230. No, minus 320.
I don't think so, but if I was making a bet, it would be the yes, just because of the value there. Let's say he shoots 76 day one and he's 10 over after 10 holes day two, then I think you shoot a quick WD. Although this is why I said all along this would be the tournament he would come back to, because there's very limited spectators, there's limited media, the field is basically all friends. If he posts 479s, it's kind of like popping the cherry. He's just getting it out of the way. You can get on with it. I think you got to do it somewhere, and you'd rather do it here than Torrey Pine.
What your finishing position do you think he finishes? And I'll tell you the odds.
Dead last. Can't really expect much more. All the guys that are playing are pretty accomplished players. They've all been playing tons of tournament golf. Looking at the field, it's a pretty star-studded event. I'm not sure who he would beat here. I can't believe you would pick him over anybody.
Will he finish in the top 5?
No.
That's minus 500.
Yeah, no way.
Give me your pick for the Hero.
I'm going to go Jordan Spieth. It is very similar to his huge year 2 years ago, where he went over to Australia and won and came back and just blew away the field. I know it was a different golf course, but he took a ton of time off after the Ryder Cup, put a lot of work into his new irons, and he won in Australia 2 weeks ago. So he's my guy. I think he's in line for a huge year.
Any other thoughts in the golf world?
No, not really in the golf world. I don't know if you watched last week some of that World Cup. There is talk of that style being translated into the Olympics and going to that format. So I think that would be an awesome change. It was a alt-shot best ball format, rotate every other day. I thought it was great.
The course was fantastic as well.
Yes, that's one of the better courses in the world, so that probably helped a little bit.
Shifting gears to college football. Fantastic weekend this past weekend. Wasn't a great played game, that Ohio State-Michigan game, but certainly exciting.
Yeah, the first half was really sloppy, but I agree with you. I actually think it might be the best Ohio State-Michigan game that I've ever watched.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I know that Michigan fans are going to complain about the calls. There were certainly some questionable ones that went against them. But I thought Jim Harbaugh did a very bad job on Saturday.
Yeah, it seemed like to me he got wrapped too much up into the officiating and stopped coaching.
Some of the play calls I don't understand. Other than the first drive where Ohio State drove down and missed the field goal, they couldn't do anything. Then Michigan gets backed up and he calls the play action pass from their own end zone and pick 6. I thought that changed the whole game.
Yeah, I was shocked that they even attempted a throw there. I thought they would just run it, punt it. Ohio State was doing absolutely nothing. I know in the fourth quarter that kind of changed and flip-flopped a little bit, but to me, I think you're right. Momentum in college football is so much more tangible than almost any other sport.
Your thoughts on what came out last night in the playoff?
No surprises for me. Kind of status quo. Obviously, the interesting part is the Wisconsin-Penn State thing. There's a couple teams that I thought were a little high. I thought Louisville at 13 was ridiculously high. I know people are clamoring for USC to be higher. They're at 11. I have no idea idea how you could make them higher. They got absolutely bamboozled by Alabama. They have 3 losses. I know they beat Colorado and Washington, but, 3 losses is 3 losses. I don't care when it happens. So
They beat Colorado.
Surprising.
Colorado didn't have their starting quarterback. And other than, Washington was a great win. But everybody's clamoring for USC. They beat a bunch of bottom feeders in the Pac-12.
Yeah, I know they had a quarterback change. I get it. They're a different team since then. But, Notre Dame, UCLA, Oregon, Cal, Arizona State. Is there a winning team in that bunch? Seriously, I don't know. Does Cal have a winning record?
I was just going to say Cal might be the only one.
And they might be like 6-5. So they're just beating up on nobodies. Some of those teams are atrocious. Like Arizona is awful. So is Arizona State. So USC, I get it. They're the big West Coast team. Everyone thinks that there's an East Coast bias, but if you throw them in the playoff, I think they would get absolutely stomped.
Completely agree.
Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, I think all of them would handle. I think there's probably 5 other teams that would handle them.
Your thoughts on Michigan?
It's tough. You take care of business against Iowa, and we don't have this conversation. Probably. To me, they were the better team. I know they lost. That's all that matters. They looked like the better team, and if you put the screws to me, I would say they're a top 4 team in the country. That's not how it works. I get it. So, kind of torn. I think they're one of the 4 best teams, but also they had their chance and they blew it. So it's hard to say they should be in there.
I'm so conflicted on them. I wasn't sure that they were a good team when they went to Iowa. I thought they were the better team on Saturday, but they lose 2 of their last 3. They lose 2 of the 4 road games they had, probably the only 2 true road games they had. I have a hard time believing Michigan.
I don't think you can put them in because of what you just said. It's tough to take away your eyeballs and your brain, and say that, but I was not very good, and they lost, so that's kind of where their season ended, in my opinion.
Now, I'll put it out there, I'm a Penn State fan, so I'm somewhat biased, but when Ohio State certainly has the best resume in the country when I look at it on paper. But going into last week, I said if it came down to Ohio State and Penn State and you're going strictly on who's better, I would take Ohio State. After Saturday, I'm not so convinced that Ohio State's the better team.
If they play 10 times on a neutral field, I think Penn State has a legit shot to win 5 of those times.
I agree.
So I'm with you as a non-Penn State fan. As a committee, an observer of the committee, I'm assuming they are going strictly off of resume first. Obviously, Ohio State's a little better. Head-to-head second, Penn State's got that edge. But then Penn State also has that extra loss, so I'm assuming that's why Ohio State is so high.
Let's assume Washington wins, Clemson wins, Penn State wins, and Bama wins. I don't think Bama really has to worry. They're in.
No,
but
they're in.
Does anything change if everything stays status quo?
Unfortunately, I do not think so. I think this might spark some change with conference championships, or we might get a defined weighting system that the committee has to abide by if Penn State is left out. But unfortunately, I think if everyone wins, Penn State's going to be left out.
I have no problem with that if the committee would come out and say Ohio State is going based on their resume. Because frankly, then teams maybe go out and schedule better out-of-conference games, and we all benefit from seeing better games.
Yeah, I would love to hear the committee say we choose Ohio State over Penn State because we value X, Y, and Z higher than conference championship and head-to-head. It's tough to say that. Conference championship and head-to-head are supposed to be weighted heavily, but if they want to say, well, Ohio State has 5 better wins, then that's fine. I can get down with that, They went to Oklahoma and killed Oklahoma. That's a big win.
Assuming Penn State blows Wisconsin out, or even Wisconsin blows Penn State out, do either of them have a shot to jump Washington?
That would be the scenario that only thing I could see happening. I actually think, maybe it's just because people are talking about Penn State because they had the head-to-head win over Ohio State, which is fair. I think Wisconsin is pretty much screwed. I think if Penn State handles Wisconsin and Washington barely wins the Pac-12 championship game, I think that's the only way.
Does Michigan have any chance to sneak in?
Chaos would have to happen. Total chaos.
If Washington were to lose and Wisconsin wins, is that Michigan's only shot?
I think Wisconsin would get in.
You think Wisconsin would jump Michigan?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know. I think there'd be too much backlash against Michigan if they somehow lost 2 of their last 3 and didn't win the Big Ten and still got in.
Is the Big 12 out? Assuming it's not the craziest weekend we've ever seen.
Yeah, I was going to say it might have to be absolute mayhem, but even then, I'm trying to think. Because Bama, in my opinion, is in either way. I don't think Ohio State can be knocked out, so that's 2. So Clemson, Washington. Yeah, I don't see how they would leapfrog Colorado, who would beat Washington, right? So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see them jumping Colorado and or Penn State, Wisconsin.
I don't even know if they would jump Michigan.
Yeah, that's a good point. Michigan's sitting there at 5. Yeah, I don't think so.
And keep that point fresh in your head, because if there was something to play for, I think Oklahoma State would be the pick this weekend. But since it seems like they may be out of it, Stoops may be on the good side of this.
I liked Oklahoma when the line came out. The line is dropped. It took me off the scent for a minute, but I totally agree. These are the situations that Bob Stoops usually loves, and when the pressure's off, he thrives.
Do you have any other thoughts on the playoff before we get into this weekend's games?
Not really. I kind of am hoping for chaos just so it makes the committee change a little bit. I do think it needs some definition to how they select their teams. So I'm kind of rooting for chaos.
I'm with you. I'll go through the games. MAC Championship, Rowe -19 against Ohio.
They don't seem to be making any headway in the rankings. Kind of torn. You play who you play. You got to beat your opponent. They're undefeated. It says a lot. I think they're a pretty good team, but they haven't beaten anybody. So they haven't even played a ranked team. I'm not sure how high you can really put them. I think they have to make a huge statement here to even get a decent bowl game. So I'm on the side of the row.
I think you're right on with the assessment. Official.
Yeah, I think we might as well row the boat one more time this year.
We're 45 and 47 on the year. This is our time.
All right.
Rowe -19.
In Ford Field, too, so fast track, which I like.
Corey Davis, the best receiver in the country?
I am going to say yes. I know you like Clemson boy Williams, but I think Corey Davis has much better hands and is a little bit more polished as a route runner. I think he's more pro-ready.
That's fair. Friday night, everyone outside of Washington will probably have their Buffalo gear on. Pac-12 championship, Washington -7.5.
Colorado had a little bit of controversy this week. Wide receiver failed to show up for court, and a tight end got suspended. So there's a little bit of distraction going on.
If I'm correct, they were not guys who got significant playing time.
No, they're not. I don't think they're starters, so you're right. It's still a little bit of a distraction. I sort of lean Colorado here. That might be a little bit of a bias, but I think they're more complete on both sides of the ball. I think they're going to try to control the clock. to me, they have some good players in the secondary. They have a really good freshman in the secondary, so that'll be the key. I kind of like the hook here. That's why I'm leaning Colorado.
I'm with you. Last weekend I watched almost all of the Colorado-Utah games. They are a legit defensive team.
Yeah, they're very good.
Utah is one of the more physical teams year in and year out, and I thought Colorado dominated them.
Yeah, and full disclosure, I will be in Boulder this weekend, so I will have my Buffalo gear on probably.
Official Colorado.
I mean, if we wanted to just go gangbusters, I'm all for it.
Colorado plus 7.5.
Let's do it.
College has been good to us this year.
Yeah, if people don't know, we do a little super contest in between us and our colleague Tundra Dan, and we're all pretty hot in college so far.
Saturday, West Virginia minus 17.5 hosting Baylor.
Baylor's in shambles. They've just crumbled, but I've been wrong almost every week on West Virginia, so I will pass on this one.
We'll get into it quickly after we go through the games, but I think it's now a stay away with Holgerson's name being thrown around for other jobs.
Yeah, it's almost like that Houston-Memphis game the other night with that distraction. I totally agree. West Virginia is a pretty good team, though. I will give them credit.
TCU minus 4.5 against the Fighting Snyders.
Another team I've been wrong a lot on is TCU. My lean here would be the Snyders, but I'm not sure I can make that an official play.
Same with me. Sticking in the Big 12, Bedlam, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma. As we mentioned, OU minus 11 at home.
I lean Oklahoma here. I don't think Oklahoma State defensively has the goods to stop an Oklahoma team that's playing well.
While we're on this, if Oklahoma State, if everything went right in week 2 against Central Michigan and that play never happened, that Hail Mary, and OK State only has 1 loss, how high are they?
Oh, wow, that's an interesting question. And you're assuming they win this weekend?
Yeah.
They would have wins against West Virginia, Oklahoma,
And Pitt.
And I guess a ranked Texas team at the time wouldn't look as good. I don't know. I think they still might be on the outside. They wouldn't have that many good wins, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think they would probably be in that 5 to 8 range.
Yeah. AAC Championship, which many of the row people will be watching. Navy minus 3 against Temple.
Tough one here.
I believe this is in Navy's campus.
Temple has been pretty good. I know Navy has too. Temple caught my eye last week. I want to say Temple, but that Navy offense is just so hard to stop.
I'm with you.
I don't know. I don't really have a pick here.
I lean Temple, but I can't make it an official.
Yeah, fair enough.
SEC Championship, Alabama minus 24 against Florida.
I can't believe this is 24. I have no idea why McElwain's name is coming up for Oregon, unless he's from there and I missed it. He's a far better job.
I was out to lunch earlier, and the closed captioning was on. Feinbaum was getting interviewed. He's hearing rumblings that he's not happy in Florida.
Ah, interesting. All right. I don't know how Florida scores legitimately unless they get a pick 6. Their offense is third to last in the country in touchdown scored, so I don't know how they score.
The over/under is 41.
Wow. I mean, it could be 31-0 Bama.
Any shot Florida wins this game?
Yeah, I'd say there's a shot. 5% maybe?
You do realize nobody scored a touchdown on Bama in November?
Yeah, they need to make the game. Their defense has to bring the lunch pail and just lay wood on Alabama. I don't know if you can do that, but they have the personnel to do it. It's just a matter of if their offense cannot turn the ball over and score maybe 9 points.
I guess the only thing you got going for you if you take Florida is you're probably going to see every gadget play McElwain can think of because they have absolutely nothing to lose.
Yeah, and 24, I would always be concerned about a backdoor.
Yes. ACC Championship, Clemson -10 host are in Orlando against Virginia Tech.
Clemson has not been what I thought they were going to be, but 10 to me feels a little light against Virginia Tech. They're a good team. I think they're going to be really good in the next 2 or 3 years, but I'm not sure they're there yet. I would lean Clemson, but I don't think I like them enough to officially do it.
Clemson's played well of late, but I haven't been overly impressed with them. I would lean Vatek.
Wow, you've been on Von Tech a lot this year.
Yes, I have.
You like the Fuente-Bud Foster relationship.
I love it. And lastly, Big Ten, Wisconsin 2.5-point favorite against Penn State.
Well, I've been on Wisconsin and Penn State a lot this year, so this is kind of a grudge match for me. I love Wisconsin's defensive line, but I'm going to go with the dog here, maybe just for the group's sake, the Harry Saxton group, but I think they're more balanced on offense. I don't love Wisconsin's offense against the Knicks defense. I think the Knicks can somehow pull it out by a field goal in the end.
I may be in the minority, but I think this is a blowout.
Wow.
I think Penn State wins by 20 plus.
Why do you think? Is it because their passing game is finally clicking?
Exactly. I watched a little bit of Minnesota-Wisconsin last week, and Minnesota runs the read option a little bit as well, and there was lanes for the quarterback all day. I think McSorley will have a decent game with his legs, and I think he's going to have a big game with his arm.
I was very impressed with his arm last week. Something clicked 5 or 6 weeks ago with that offense, and we've been riding them, and 2.5 here I think is a little bit generous.
Now, if he doesn't get any time, that's the way Wisconsin will win this game. But if he has time, I think this is a blowout.
Yes, if they can't run the ball either, I would worry. They run to set up the pass, so.
I think this week it's going to have to be reversed.
Yeah, fair enough.
Official?
Yeah, I'm definitely on the Nets.
Row -19, Colorado +7.5, Penn State +2.5. Take it to the bank.
I like it.
Quickly to the coaching changes. Start with Tom Herman. Texas basically paying $25 million to get Tom Herman. State institution, as you said. You okay with that hire?
Yeah, I'm not sure what other direction they were going to go. I know his resume is limited, but I like what he does offensively. So I think you need to bring that if you can get Texas recruits like the University of Texas should be able to. He should do fairly well. It's one of those things where the expectations are so high, I don't know if they can ever be met. So unless you're getting Chip or someone like that, I'm not sure what other direction they were going to turn in.
You and I were on the Tom Herman bandwagon for 18 months. I think it's the right decision for Texas.
Yeah, I would agree, especially at this time. If it were next year, maybe it's different. But right now, I think it's the best decision.
LSU. Why so quick to hire Ed Orgeron?
I think they got scared of what has happened the last 3 or 4 years with their coaching situation, getting burned by other guys, the Les Miles fiasco. I think they didn't want to be the other sister where they got said no to. And I think they got the feeling early on that Herman was going to say no, and they just said screw it.
I think if it played out and they didn't hire Orgeron and waited, I think that there would have actually been odds that Les Miles comes back.
I think it would have been in a world of hurt, I think, if that happened. I don't think, Ed probably fits the team right now, I'm not sure he does for the next 5 years.
What if he were to bring Lane Kiffin?
Why would Lane Kiffin do that, though, would be my question.
Only way I'd see it is if to use it as a stepping stone to get his name back out there for a job.
I would assume that he would be a hot candidate next year no matter what if Bama wins. Again. So...
Could you see a scenario where Lane Kiffin is back at Tennessee?
I could not. I guess it makes sense from a standpoint that their offense is so bad passing-wise. If he goes there and changes it, I guess it would bump his resume up even more. But I'm just not sure it's not a step down from what he's doing right now.
Thoughts on Oregon?
Good job, not a great job. Terrible location. I mean, you have the Nike connection, but who doesn't have a connection nowadays? Washington looks like it's going to be really good for the next 5 years. USC is always going to be USC. We'll see if they can get it turned around. But the names, Dana Holgerson seems to be a front runner. Coach just sent us a text saying Brian Kelly's a rumor. If I was Oregon, I would back the truck up for Brian Kelly and not even think twice about it.
Interesting. We exchanged texts earlier, and I think they have to go Holgerson. I think they have to go Scott Frost. They have to go somebody who's similar to the system they ran or pushes them back farther. If they get pushed back farther in the Pac-12, I don't know if they can dig themselves out as easily as Chip Kelly got them out.
What do you think about Brian Kelly?
I have mixed feelings about Brian Kelly. I think he's a good coach, but I think his message could get old, even though you have higher turnover in college. And I always thought he was a good quarterback coach, but when I think back on his time at Notre Dame, he didn't really develop anybody. In the year that they were good and went to the title, if I can remember correctly, he was using 2 quarterbacks and Tommy Rees was coming in to close games.
He certainly, to me, should have been better at Notre Dame. I know they went to a title game, but to me they should be better than what they've been. Obviously this year's been a disaster. I almost think Oregon's a much better fit for him than Notre Dame is.
I think his personality clashes so much with the Notre Dame people.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I think Oregon's a good fit. I actually think I don't think Butch Jones is making it through Tennessee next year. I think Brian Kelly maybe Tennessee.
That would be interesting.
I don't know if he's an SEC personality either, but it would be interesting to see him in the SEC.
He got a little Saban in him.
Yeah.
Tennessee is another spot that's weird. I think you can be really good there, but you just have to battle so many people.
Yes. You're battling both ACC and SEC, where most of the other SEC schools are just battling SEC schools.
Right, exactly.
Other than Florida. Florida and Georgia, I guess, would be the other two. So, you brought up Brian Kelly. Do you think he's on the sidelines game 1 at Notre Dame next year?
I'm going to say yes still. We don't really see dramatic, quick exits at big schools like that. So I'm going to say yes.
Anything else in college football?
That is it for me. Looking forward to the weekend.
To varsity. I want to start by saying that Kansas City-Denver was one of the more enjoyable NFL games I've watched in a long, long time.
That was an old school type of game. I think they only had one flag for an illegal hit, but people were just killing each other.
It was 1990s Chiefs-Broncos.
Yeah. Justin Houston versus Von Miller was one of the better one-up type of matchups that I've ever seen.
The first half, Justin Houston was an absolute monster. I don't know if he got tired or they changed up protections. I do know they changed their tackle.
Yeah.
It's not often you see an NFL team change their tackle in the middle of a game because of one guy especially.
Yes. He did go to the locker room to get his shoulder x-rayed right before halftime, so I'm not sure if something happened with that, but first half was one of the best halves I've ever see from a defensive player.
Your thoughts on Kubiak's decision?
I didn't like it. You know, it's 40 degrees, so not sure what you're expecting. I get it that you're at altitude, but it's still cold as crap.
Were you in the favor of him going for it or punting?
I would rather him see. Yeah, I like going for it. I was talking about the field goal attempt.
Yeah.
The 62-yarder, I think, was ludicrous. I mean, what is he going to make that? 1 out of 5 at best?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing I think where he lost it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I thought he should have went for it on just straight up go for it.
Yes, exactly.
Especially whoever. I can't even think of the cornerback's name right now. He got burned all night by Emmanuel Sanders. That's who I would have just thrown at.
Yeah, I can't remember his name either.
The number 23. I forget his name.
Sanders was beating him over and over and over. Even if you want to stick Thomas over there, anybody.
Yeah. Your thoughts from the rest of the NFL?
It was a pretty good slate. I think underdogs went 8-7-1 against the spread. I think most of the games came down to one-possession games in the fourth quarter. So it was an entertaining weekend of football. Carolina, Oakland, Washington, Dallas, specifically were the two games that stuck out to me, and then the Monday Nighter. Sunday Nighter.
We're through 12 weeks. You tell me who's still alive. Dallas, obviously. Giants and Washington, obviously. Eagles, cross them off?
No, I'm going to give them one more week.
Lions are alive. Vikings?
They got to win this weekend, or tomorrow night.
Packers?
Alive.
Bears are out. Falcons are alive. The wagon is alive. Panthers.
Out.
Saints.
One more week. They have a big game with the Lions this weekend.
Chickens are in. Cards.
I think the Cards are out.
I'm with you.
I think we can sharpie them off.
Rams.
They're out.
And Niners are obviously out.
Yeah.
Pats in. Dolphins in. Bills still in.
Yeah, Bills. I'm still in the Bills camp here that they can make the playoffs.
Jets are out.
Yes.
Steelers, Ravens in. Bengals, Browns out.
Yes.
Anybody out in the, I guess just the Jags.
Just the Jags. Gus Bus is out.
Everybody in the West?
San Diego's at 5-6, so they are 2 games back of or 3 games back of the wild card.
I believe 7-4 is the leading, is wild card.
I'm going to give San Diego one more week just because I think they're a good team.
I'm with you on all of them. Guess the lines. You have a 5-4 one-tie lead. Thursday night in Minnesota. They host Dallas. I said Dallas -4.
I said the exact same thing.
Tie. It opened 2.5. It is up to Dallas -3.
Boy, I'm not sure where to go here. I think Dallas' offense is clearly the best unit on the field, but this line is so low that my gut is telling me to pick Minnesota.
I'm with you. Can you do it though?
I don't know. There's seasons on the line here. Stephon Diggs has to play for me to get on that side. So I think right now he's questionable. I would assume being a Thursday night game, it'll be a game time decision. I need to wait and see that for that. I've lost every single time I've gone against Dallas this year, so.
Yeah, I don't know which way to go. I thought Minnesota kind of has the defense to stop Dallas with a good defensive line to slow down Ezekiel Elliott and a decent enough secondary to slow down Dez. But I just don't know how they score enough.
That's the problem. They have to really wrap this game up. make it ugly, win a close ball game like 17-14. But I agree with you. I think they have the perfect personnel. They have pass rushers, and I think Xavier Rhodes can shut down Ted. It's the guys like Cole Beasley that I worry about.
Yes.
Back out of the pocket, stuff like that. But my lean is Minnesota if Stephon Diggs plays.
Yeah, it would just be slightly in Minnesota my way as well. Sunday, 1 o'clock in Jacksonville. Broncos off overtime loss. I said Denver -6.
I said Denver -7.
I get this one. It opened 5. It has remained 5.
No man's land type of line. With the Chiefs and Raiders winning, I think this is a big game for Denver, so you can't really have a letdown spot, but the line is yelling letdown. I'm going to stay away from this.
Yeah, as of right now, Denver's on the outside looking in. They have to be somewhat desperate. But going on the road to Florida after Sunday night and the way Sunday night's game went, the physicality,
Yeah.
if the Jags are going to knock somebody off, this is going to be the weekend.
They essentially played a full quarter more on Sunday night, so, yeah. I'm with you. I can't take the Jags, but...
Despite Jacksonville being terrible record-wise and Bortles being terrible record interception-wise, the Jags have played close games most of the season.
Yeah, they've hovered around the number. I'd be curious to see what their against the spread record is, but they haven't totally quit.
Yeah. I would lean Jags, but I would never pull the trigger on it.
Yeah, I'd want the full touchdown if I'm going to hop on the Gus bus.
Good one in Atlanta. They host the Chiefs. I said Atlanta -3.
I said Atlanta 3.5.
You got it. It opened 4. It's down to 3.5.
You know Andy far better than I do, but that was a huge win. They don't really have room to let down, though, since they still trail Oakland. But this seems to me like a good spot for Atlanta.
I think so too, especially against a team who doesn't score a ton of points. Although, after watching Sunday, the full game of Kansas City, if they can get Macklin healthy, I like that offense in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's my concern why I can't really go full pick on Atlanta, because their defense is atrocious. And I do think the Chiefs can play keep away here with Spencer Ware, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, especially if they get Macklin back. They just seem to dictate games to their style, and Atlanta doesn't really do that.
I would lean Atlanta just because of the spot, but another one I can't pull the trigger.
Exactly.
Houston at Green Bay. I said Green Bay -1.
I said Green Bay -4.
You got it. Open 3.5 up to 6.5.
Wow, 6.5. That seems like a little bit of an overreaction. Green Bay's defense did play a little bit better, I thought, against Philly. I don't know if it was more defense or Philly not really executing. But God, Houston's offense is so freaking bad that I can't get on them on any spot anymore.
Do you think early on Brock Osweiler went home and was like, man, I just got to get it together? Do you think he's reached the point where he realizes that he sucks and he's just taking money?
Yeah.
And like he's gotten to the point that he doesn't care?
I don't know. I haven't seen the Texans game since the Monday Nighter, but he's awful. I mean, he might be the worst quarterback in the league, which is saying something.
I want to like Houston because I think a 3-point jump just because of what happened on Monday night is way too much of an overreaction, but I don't know if I could do it.
And you gotta we said it all year, you gotta like Houston's weapons against a horrific Green Bay defense, but if you have no one to get them the ball, what does it matter?
I lean Houston.
Yeah, I do too, but I can't make it a pick.
I thought Philly's defensive game plan was atrocious on Monday night, but I thought Rodgers played okay against Washington, and he played well Monday night. Has he turned a corner?
They put up his numbers. Really, it's just his deep ball completion percentage that has gone up the last few weeks. His numbers are not all that different. I thought he looked good against Philly. I thought he played well, but I agree with you. I thought Philly's game plan was a little weird. I think getting James Starks back has helped, even though his numbers won't stick out. I think just having him back there has been a big help.
Yeah, I'm with you. Speaking of Philly, they go to Cincinnati. I said Philly -1.
I said Cincy -1.
I get this one. It opened Philly -1. It is still Philly -1.
I would lean Philly here just because Monday night's game wasn't really close. I am banking on Cincinnati quitting. To me, it looks, I think after losing to their rival Baltimore kind of the way they did and being without A.J. Green, I think Cincinnati is just going to go into a free fall.
I think Philly's defensive line is good, but they look better against quarterbacks who can't move, like Andy Dalton. I like Philly this weekend.
I do too. Is Jordan Matthews going to play?
He says he's going to.
Then I'm on Philly.
I hate to even ask you, but official?
Yeah, let's do it. Why not? We like betting on average to crappy teams.
No, say it right. Shitty teams.
Trying to be nice.
Speaking of shitty teams, Cleveland does not play this week, so we will not get that automatic loss.
Oh man, we just keep going back to that well. We keep getting punched in the face.
It's November 30th. This is week 13. It took 13 weeks, but I'm having doubts about Doug Peterson.
Wow. I was going to wait another week to bring that up. To me, his game plans have gotten worse by the week.
I know he's not working with much at the wide receiver position. They had 7 guys on offense playing not in their normal position or backup on Monday night. But I agree, based on what he has, his game plan has not been good.
Maybe he's being double teamed every play and I don't see it, but it baffles me how little Zach Ertz gets the ball.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I'm about to start a bandwagon that you brought my attention to in the offseason, and it's going to hurt you. But I'm starting the Sean McAvoy head coaching bandwagon for Philly.
He's going to get the job in the next 2 to 3 years. I think he'd rather be a year early than a year late. He started the year a little conservative. It was almost like him and Cousins weren't on the same page. Cousins was trying to play it too safe. I don't know if he was protecting money or what, but he is going to be a star, I think.
I agree. There's not many other offensive minds, young minds, that I would want for Carson Wentz.
I will say his red zone play calling is frustrating, but I think that is a little bit of lack of experience. I think that will come with time.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think Garcon is underutilized in the red zone.
I agree. He's by far their most physical player on offense.
Yes. To the Superdome, they host the Lions. I said New Orleans -3.
I said -6.
You got it. It opened 5. It's up to 6. Quickly, I thought it was fantastic how they ran the score up on Greg Williams.
It was awesome. I was actually shocked at how cold Sean Payton was to him. I didn't realize that relationship was so bad.
And how did they score 49 points and Brandon Cooks did not catch a ball?
Yeah, it baffles me how little they use him. I think I saw that he's 75th in the league in targets or something like that, which is just insane. I really like their rookie Michael Thomas from Ohio State, but to me, Brandon Cooks has got to get the ball more.
Quietly, I think Breeze is having an MVP type year again.
Yeah, I think if they can make the playoffs, he'll be in the conversation for sure.
I certainly was on the train that he was done, but he's proved me wrong.
He has proved me wrong as well.
I do think 6 is a lot, though, in this game.
I like to back the Saints at home. I'm a believer that the Lions are a mini fraud, but I do think they can score enough points to keep this one close. The Lions always scare me with a back door just because they chuck it around so much. I think Golden Tate and Marvin Jones could have big days here. I think the Saints win, but I think this could be a backdoor situation.
You like Lions official?
I don't think I'm there yet.
I'm with you. I don't know if I could do it in the dome.
Yeah.
Is Chicago, San Fran? I said Bears -3.
Bears -1.
I get this. It opened -3. It's dropped to 1.5.
Quietly, Colin Kaepernick has put together a few good games in a row. The Bears should have won last week after being down a zillion to Tennessee. They had 7 drops in the fourth quarter alone. Matt Barkley looked okay. I don't know if they can do it again, but neither team's defense is really good. So, I think I would lean Bears, but I'm not going to pick it.
I'm on the other side. I think Tennessee's secondary is horrific. I think Barkley still sucks. I thought they should have won the game despite that, but I can't pick Chip Kelly.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think I've seen enough Chip Kelly. I know he doesn't have a ton to work with, but I think I've seen enough of him to not think he's an NFL head coach. That's just where I'm at. I get it that he's this genius, and Coach Miller loves how different he is, but I think he's just a college coach. That's what he is.
I agree. He's a college coach. In the NFL, these defensive coordinators are so good. All they need is a couple tapes and they can figure you out. And once that happened, the most surprising thing to me was Chip had no counterpunch.
Zero. It's bizarre. He just keeps trying to do the same thing over and over.
To me, it was one thing that he couldn't evaluate talent and couldn't be a GM. That's a lot of people can't do that.
Right.
But for being this offensive genius to not have a counterpunch was shattering, mind-shattering to me.
I also think you have to have special talent on offense to be able to sustain 16 games and a playoff run by just outscoring people. That style is just, the game is too physical in the NFL to put your defense on the field that much.
Yes.
I think there's got to be a happy place somewhere in the middle. Not that you have to be a defensive team, but unless you just have stars at every offensive position that can score 45. I mean, we saw with New England 07. They lost to a team with a defense.
To New England, they host the Rams. I said Pats 9.5, and I don't think I was high enough.
I think I said 10.5, but I don't think I was high enough.
You got it. It opened 13.5. It's remained 13.5.
That is a ton of points given to a team that has a pretty good defensive line. I know they got shredded last week in New Orleans, but there's some different circumstances. I do not like rookie quarterbacks going against Belichick, even though I can't stand the Pats defense this year. I don't want a rookie quarterback. I don't care what the number is.
I'm with you. The Patriots' health is a concern. Despite them, I don't think they're as good as they have been made out to be this year.
I think right now on a neutral site they would lose to 3 or 4 other teams.
Yes.
In the AFC alone.
Yes.
Yeah, their health's a problem and their defense is not very good. That's not a good combination.
I do think they may have found a little something last week with James White, Dion Lewis, and a tight end on the field at the same time.
Well, yeah, especially without Gronk, they don't have a deep threat. I'm not, I do like Chris Hogan in the middle of the field. I think he's a little faster than he gets credit for, but defense, they're just packing it in. I don't think Tom Brady threw a pass over 20 yards last week.
I lean Patriots, but they are not as dominant as they've been, so I do have worries.
Yeah, the strength of the Rams is obviously their D-line. The pass offensive line has been okay this year to pretty good, so I don't actually have a lean either way. I think this number is pretty good.
A good one in Baltimore. They host the Dolphins. I said...
It's a really good game. I have Ravens giving the home 3 here.
I had 2.5. You get it. It opened 3.5. It's the home 3 now. You take a 5-3 lead on the week.
This is a very tough game to pick a side. Baltimore's usually pretty good at home. Their offense is atrocious, though. To me, this game comes down to if Miami's defense shows up. If it does, I like Miami. I think I lean towards Miami getting 3.
I lead Miami as well. I know we've started the wagon last week for them. I'm on them.
They're pretty balanced offensively. You know, when Tannehill's not making mistakes, they're kind of set up for the playoffs. They have pretty good wide receivers. They have a good running game. They have very good offensive defensive line. You know, kind of this time of year, that's what shows up.
I'm with you. I think that bodes well for this game. If their offensive line's healthy this weekend, that's something to keep your eye on. They played without 3 O-linemen last week.
Good point. Yep.
If they're back this weekend, I lean Miami.
Yeah, me too.
Interesting game in Oakland. They host Buffalo. I said Oakland 4.5.
I said 7.
I get this. It opened 3.5. It's 3.
Wow. Holy crap. Just by that, I kind of like Buffalo.
I agree.
Huge win against Carolina. They had to stave off a charging Cam. I kind of like Tyrod Taylor's legs here. Sammy Watkins didn't practice today, soreness in his foot, so who knows if he'll play. I think Shady McCoy has a monster game here. Derek Carr with that double dislocated finger concerns me. I want the Bills.
I'm with you. That game last weekend, he gets the nickname Riverboat Ron, but I have no clue why he didn't go for it on 4th and 1. He went against everything he believes in.
I know.
They would have easily got the first down with a 6'6", 250 quarterback falling forward.
Yeah, I think there's a 1% chance that Cam doesn't get that.
But I do lean Buffalo in this game.
I know everyone's high on Oakland. We both were in the preseason. Their defense blows. Khalil Mack is good, I get it, but their secondary is awful. I think you can score up and down the field. I think that's going to be their kryptonite in the playoffs.
Oakland goes to Kansas City Thursday night. And then to San Diego. So they got 2 division games coming up. I think this is a fantastic spot for the Buffalo Bills.
Agreed. I'm on it.
Official.
Yeah. Rex.
Bills +3.
Love it.
Staying in California, San Diego hosts our wagon, who got a wagon-like win last weekend, 14-5.
I'm going to have to look up what I sent you here for this line.
I said Chargers 3.5.
I said Bolts -2.
I get this one. It opened 5.5. It's dropped to 3.5.
Oh, man. Didn't want to hear that line change. Because I kind of like San Diego in this spot. Huge win for the wagon against Seattle. Probably the biggest one they've had in 10 years. They got to go all the way out west to a San Diego team that I think is pretty good.
I love San Diego.
Yeah, I don't know why that line dropped like that.
I don't think that there's any injuries that I'm aware of.
I didn't see any. Maybe there is. We might have to research that, but I love San Diego too.
Assuming no injuries, is this an official?
Yeah, definitely.
I will confirm that through a tweet.
I do not like Tampa on the road after 2 huge wins.
No, I agree. Another good one at 4:25. Washington Hearts go to Arizona. I
I
said
think Cards giving the home field goal.
I said Arizona -1. You get it. It opened 2.5. It's remained 2.5.
Oh boy, I don't know what to think of this game. Obviously, it's a must-win for both teams. I think at this point, Arizona we crossed off, but they might think they have a chance still. David Johnson could have a huge game for Arizona. Obviously, Washington struggles to stop the run, but I sort of lean Washington here. I hate when I do, but I kind of like them.
The only thing I'm worried about is a desperate Arizona team, but I think we would have seen that last week. I think the wrong team is favorite.
Yeah, it's weird. Carson Palmer's been pretty bad this year. John Brown, I think, is questionable.
I think Pat Peterson might be too.
Pat Peterson banged up his knee. Honey Badger is still injured. The big injury in this game, though, why I can't totally be on it yet, is Jordan Reed is questionable with the shoulder injury. I know he came back in and finished last week. He played really well, but he is officially questionable.
To Pittsburgh, they host the Giants. I said Pitt 3.5.
I said Pitt 4.5.
You get it. It opened 6. It's still 6.
6. That is incredibly high.
I wanted to like the Steelers because I think the Giants are the biggest fraud in the league, but 6 is too many for me.
6 is a lot. It's one of those games, though, where I feel like Joe Pub is going to see Giants 8-3 getting 6. Think it's an easy pick. I'm not sold on the Giants' defense yet. I know they beat up Cleveland a little bit last week. But Pittsburgh's offense is a different animal. I actually am going to go and eat the points here. I'm leaning Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I want to like Pittsburgh. I think they win this game. 6 is a lot.
6 is a lot. I get it. Pittsburgh's defense isn't very good.
The next game on the board is Carolina-Seattle. This may be at the teaser spot.
I said Chickens -6.
I said 5.5. You get it to clinch the week. It opened 6.5. It's still 6.5. You now have a 6-4 lead on the year.
A little cushion.
Finally off the seesaw.
I think Carolina stayed out west, so the trip shouldn't be an issue. The issue is that are they going to quit? And does I assume Luke Kuechly is not going to play again, which is pretty big in this game. I agree with you. Good teaser spot with Seattle. I think they get right at home here. I would assume Earl Thomas might be back this week. But either way, I still like Seattle on a bounce back.
Seattle Pitt teaser. Both of them basically pick them.
I'd be in for that for sure.
So it would be Seattle -0.5, Pitt pick.
I mean, tell me which side loses. Probably both now that we're doing that.
And then Monday night, Jets Colts.
Oh God, where's the flex scheduling when you need it?
I said Colts -1.
Yeah, I'm assuming Andy Luck's coming back, so I said Colts -1 as well.
So we tie. Colts open 2.5. It's 1.5.
Yeah, I would need to sell Tundra on this one. My lean is the Colts just because they are still in a divisional race, and I think you can pick on the Jets secondary. So I would lean Colts, but I would need Andy Luck to say he's definitely playing, and I would need Tundra's blessing.
Yeah, I think it's a good spot for the Colts. I think the Jets played their best game of the year last week. Now they got to come back and play Monday night. I think it's a good spot for the Colts.
Yeah, I agree.
So the officials we have: Eagles -1, Bills +3, Chargers -3.5, Seattle Pitt teaser, Seattle -0.5, Pitt pick'em.
I know I've said this before, but man, if this doesn't feel like the week we're about to take off, I don't know
I agree. Right on the cusp.
And we have not been great in the NFL this year, but this sure feels like a winning week.
I think this is the week with less college games that the books and the sharps get hot.
Let's hope so.
Anything else?
I don't think so, no.
Do the folks a favor in Happy Valley and bring Colorado a victory.
I will try.
Great job by you today.
Tip of the cap to the host as always, and for your rooting interest, go Nits.
Talk to you soon.